Okay, this is going to be a video to show how to use a modal window on a web page. And in this situation, it's going to be the modal window is going to be triggered by clicking on an image. I'll give you an example. If we start, not here, if we start on a page here, so I've got a page here which is a map of a hospital with some information down below. What I would like to do is so that you could click on each of these letters or these buildings and a modal window pops up and shows something. So for example, if I click on A, there we go, a modal window pops up and gives some information. I could click on this little building down here. Again, a window pops up, a different window pops up with different information. Could click down here, same thing, information would pop up. So the idea is that you have a map of some sort. As you click on the map, something pops up and gives you some information on the different areas, so A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. So to do this, I'm going to use Photoshop. I'm going to use a little bit of HTML in brackets, a few little different techniques just to put it together. The first thing I need to do is to be able to make this map so that you can divide it into different sections so that when you click in a certain section, it works, right? So the first thing we need to do is divide the map up. So let's go to Photoshop and start that. So if I go to Photoshop, and you do this with any map, right? This is just an example. So if I go, here's the picture of my map, and it's just a standard, this is a PNG file. You can see up the top here, it's a PNG file, and I want to divide this up. Now, in Photoshop, you can put the rulers on by going Command R. So Command R will bring the rulers up. Okay, and so I've got the rulers present. Now, let's start divide this photo into sections that we want to cut up. So let's say I want to start with this brown building in the bottom right hand corner. I'm going to put some guides down, so just by dragging from the ruler down to where I want it, I can place a guide in place, right? So I'm going to put a guide just about there, and let's put another guide there. So you can see that I've made a square around this first brown building, right? So that could be one of the first sections that I cut out so that when the user clicks just on this brown building, a modal window pops up for that brown building. All right, while we're doing it, let's also do this green building over here. Put some guides around this green building the best we can, and there you go. Now, I go up here to my, normally my crop tool in my top left-hand corner. You'll see it's normally the crop tool. Hold your mouse button down and go down to one that says the slice tool. Okay, so now I'm on the slice tool, and I'm going to draw a slice around that box that I first created. So now you can see, in here you can see the number 3, that shows that there's a slice, just that section there. So I've cut that little section image out. Now I'm going to do the same over here for this one, and that'll have a slice number as well. Now that one's got a 3 and this one's changed to 6. So it's slowly but surely breaking this image up into slices. Okay, and in a minute we'll show you how to save all those slices out. Now, I've done 2. I'm going to go View, Clear Guides. So my guides are gone, my slices are still there, and I'm going to decide the next section that I want to slice up. So I want to slice up this building A over here. So I'm going to drag this over. I'll leave that guide in the same spot. I might even leave that guide in the same spot. I'm going to put a new one down here, and I'll put a new one, say, there. So now I've divided up just that orange section. Okay, so I'm going to use my slice tool. I'm going to draw another box around that one. So that's going to be my A. Now, while I'm doing that A, I might as well do some down here as well, which are going to be my letters. So I'm just going to drag a few more guides out here, down here. Another one down here. Okay, so now I can get my slice and I can say, okay, there's a slice in case they click on the A. There's going to be another slice here in case they click on the B. The user clicks on the B. Another slice down here in case they click on the C. So as you can see, I'm slicing up the image according to different little zones that are all going to become lots of little images. Okay, so now I've got a few there. Okay, now what you do is you end up going through and slicing up the entire picture. Now you have to slice everything. You can't leave any sections without any slices. The whole thing has to be sliced up. And once you've sliced it up, then you're going to export each individual little slice as a picture. Now, I'm going to go to here to this other file, which I've already done. I spent some time slicing it up. Here's one I did earlier. And you can have a look. If I have a look here, every single slice has been done. So you can see down here I've got A, B, C, D, E. D, G, Q, R, which are the letters of the hospital. You can see I've sliced up all of these sections. There's A, there's the brown building. Now, the black building is an interesting one. If you come to the black building, this is going to be made up of 4 main slices. There's going to be this slice here, number 11, this slice here, number 12, this one 19, and this one 27. So it's 4 slices. So each of those 4 slices are going to have to be linked to the modal window. So in case they click here or in case they click here, the modal window still works. The rest of them, you can see I've made pretty much a single slice around each other building. Okay, D is going to be that little one there, plus that one there, plus that one there. This building D is going to be those 2, 6 and 16. Building C will have to be 7 and 8. Building G will have to be number 4. So you can see I've sliced up the entire image. Now, once you've sliced the image and there's no blank spaces, so even these outside ones out here are now parts of the slice, then we're going to go and do an export. Now we can go File, Export, and we're going to export Save for Web Legacy. Okay, so this is an old way that you used to do it if you're going to do rollover images. Now, we're not doing rollover images, but the function is still a really good function. So we click on Save for Web Legacy, and this screen comes up. Now, you don't need to change anything in this. What it does is it says, okay, I need to export all of these little slices, every single one of them. How do you want me to export them? And if you don't change anything, it'll export them as GIFs. Right, which are tiny, they're fast, they load quickly on your screen, they're web colors, they're really good, it works, right? So I'm going to hit save, and it's going to say, where do you want to save it? Now, I've already created a folder called Save for Web, and I've said that I want to export the HTML and the images. So I want it to actually make for me a web page as it goes along, and I want it to save all the images as well. And it'll put them into an images folder here, and it'll save a page as an HTML page. Now, I would normally click save there. Like I said, I've already done it, so I'm going to show you how it works. So, click save, it'll save all the images, it'll save an HTML file. Okay, so then we would be finished in Photoshop. I'll hide out of this Photoshop, and I'll go to my Save for Web folder. So here I've got my Save for Web folder. If you have a look in the Images folder, all of those images are in there. Every single little slice that I made, you can go down and preview them. All of them are in there as separate little cutout slices. Okay, now we don't have to put them back together because we exported the HTML page. So if you have a look at the HTML page, there it is. It looks great. It's all joined up. Everything's together. You don't need to glue all the images together. Excuse me. All the images together. You can see that they're all already there, ready to go. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to add this section where the modal window pops up. So we go to the interwebs, we go to W3 Schools, and we look up w3.css modal. And this gives you a whole lot of information about learning about modal windows and how they work and so on and so forth. Now I like this one where it's an image and then you click on it and something pops up. So let's have a quick look at this. And it's got the code on the left hand side and it's got the actual image on the right. Here we go. So here's the code. It's nothing. It's not very much code. It's 20 lines maybe. And here's the image. If I click on the image, it pops up in a new window and it blows the image up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have it where if you click on the little part of the hospital image, then a different modal window pops up. So what I'm going to do is copy this section of code, Command C, copy the code, and I'm going to go to brackets and I'm going to have a look at it. So let's go to brackets and let's open 2 files. Let's open the split file. This is the split file. This is the HTML file that came out of Save for Web, index.html. It might be called something different, but it's an HTML file. And you can see all the little splits here. Split number 1, split number 2, split number 3. So it goes down, it shows you all the splits. And then I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to, in this new file, paste the stuff I just got out of W3 Schools. All right, that didn't work. Let me go back to W3 Schools. Just copy that code, Command C, go back here, Command V, there's the code. All right, now I'm also going to change my view in brackets to split view. I'm going to put one down here, and I'm going to leave this one up here. Now, this one, let's just go File, Save As, and I'm going to call it modal.html. And I'll just save that one to, for this stage, I'm just going to save it to the desktop, save. Now, you'll notice a couple of things. First of all, when we look at the modal file that we've just got from W3 Schools, one of the first things we notice is that there's a link here to style sheets that are found online. So there are style sheets that make this code work, that make all these images in here work. However, if you're making your own website, you don't want to have to link online to get someone else's style sheets. You actually want those style sheets. So what I suggest you do is copy that web reference, go online, create a new tab, put in the top of the tab that actual reference, and this is all the CSS. So I'm going to go Command A in here, Command C to copy. I'm going to copy the whole style sheet, and in fact I've already done it here, and you can look here, I've pasted all of that style sheet in there, and it's long, you know, it's well, 232 lines worth of code. It's someone else's style sheet. So rather than have all of this huge link here linking to a web style sheet, I've actually copied the style sheet off. So when I go back to my index page, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link line that links to the style sheet. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put it in right here. Here it is. Instead of linking to the W3 Schools website, I've linked it to my new style sheet, W3 Style. That's what I called it. I've linked it in there and saved it in there, right? So, and then I've put the W3 Style in the same folder as I've put the index. So I don't have to go online for my style. It's already there next to the file. Okay, next thing on the index. I want to decide where I want to start on this page. Where do I really want to start? So if we go back and have a quick look at the hospital, in fact, if we go and preview that page again, the index page, I'm going to start at A. I'm going to start A down here. So that's the one I'm going to start at. Now, I need to find out which image was the letter A. Which image is that one? Which image is that one? So I can go back to Photoshop. I can look up my sliced pieces, and I can see that slice 20 is the A. If you look, there's a little 20 there, it's the A. And if I look down here, slice 47 is the A. Okay, so I want there to be a modal window on 20 and 47. So let's go back to brackets. We're jumping around a little bit. We go back to brackets. Here we go. I'm going to start on my left-hand side on my index file. I go down and I find number 20. And you look down, the splits are in order. You can find split number 20, which is right there. Split number 20, there it is. Split 20, if I hold my mouse over it, you can even see that it's image A. Now, I want to have a look at this section of code over here, and I want to see how the modal section works. And what actually happens, it says, on click, get the document element modal01 and run that. So then down here is modal01, and it says, okay, on the click, do this, do that, and eventually show snowtops.jpg. So it's saying, on the click for this image up here, on the small snowtops image, when you click on it, run this little section down here called modal01 and put a big snowtops image. So what I want to tell the computer to do is, on the click on my little image, which I know is split number 20, when you click on there, I want you to run modal01. But instead of running a snowtops image, I want to put a different image in there. I want to put a modal image in there that's going to pop up. So what I do is, on my number 20 down here on my left-hand side, I copy these lines, the one that says on click, down to there. Just that one line of code. It says on click, do modal01. And I put that in with the first image. So there's my hospital 20, and you can see I've added on click, there it is, go to modal01. And then I've copied the div here that has the Modal 01 information on it, right there, that much, that jumps to snow tops, makes it go big. I've copied that and I've put that directly underneath it, right there, so that if they click on Hospital 20, it's going to run Modal 1. Now, I don't want the snow tops. I want a modal image to come up. So I went back into Photoshop and I made a little modal image. This is it here. In fact, I could preview it straight out of that folder. This is it. This is what's going to pop up. Okay, so I made that in Photoshop. It's just a normal PNG file. It's got a box and it's got some writing on it. So that's what I want to pop up. And I named it Back 1. So you'll see back in my brackets, instead of having snow tops, I put in Back 1. There it is right there. So if someone clicks on GIF 20, then Back 1's going to pop up on the screen in big elements. Now I also wanted that letter A to do the same. Okay, so if I go down, I find 47, I think it was. Go down 44, 45. Here's 47. So this time on 47, I've added the same on-click statement and I've said go and get Modal 1, but I didn't have to put the div in because the Modal 1 div I'd already put up the top here. I'd already put up at 20, I'd already put that div in. 20, where is it? Up here, I've already put that div in. So it already understands that that's Modal 1, so I don't need to do that little div section twice. I just need to do the link to that once, you know. So there you go. So that's right. Now, I wanted to do a different one. I want to do another one to show you that it works with a different div. So I decided to do this green building. It's number 26. So I'm going to work out how to do that slice 26. So I go back to my brackets. I find 26, and you might have seen I've already done this. I find 26. Here it is here, GIF 26. This time I add the same line, on click, blah, 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 except this time I named it Modal 2. So it's going to have a different modal window that pops up. I add the div. This time I call it Modal 2. And then this time I'm adding Back 2. So I'm adding a different modal window to pop up. And if we go and have a look at my folder, let's have a quick look, find that. Here it is. Back 2 is a different modal window that pops up, right? So this one's green, same information, but this one's green. So now I know that if I click on A, I'm going to get Modal 1 pop up. If I click on the dimmer here, I'm going to get Modal 2 pop up. And obviously, I would make modals for each of the different letters, for each of the different pop-ups. You make them in Photoshop. It's pretty easy. Once you've done that, you make sure that they all link. Every single one links. The ones that you don't need to link, like say on the graphic of the hospital, the ones like this big blank area out here, you just don't link anything to it. You just put the links on the pieces that you need. Now, if you've got one like this black one, which we divided into 3 sections, on the split, you can see I divided into 3 sections. Obviously, you'd have to have a modal link to 19, 17, what's this, 11, 27. You're going to link all 4 of those to the same modal one, whichever it is. Once you've done that, you save it as index.html, and then you can run it from a web page, and you'll see, as I did at the start of the video, click on A, there's my white modal. Click on this green one, there's my green modal. Remember, I linked the A there to the same A over here, so if I click on this one, there's the modal window there. So that's how you do a modal pop-up based on an image, and the image has been cut up in Photoshop into tiny little pieces so that it loads fast, it looks good, and you can put on those modal windows whatever you want. It could be a picture of a dog, it could be the picture of anything. As long as you click, it could be a map to this building, it could be a picture of a Google map showing where it is in the world, right? It's up to you what you pop up on the window, but that's how you do a modal window from an image that's been sliced up in Photoshop and loads fast and works well. It's just a different technique, a different way to do things. And make sure you reference W3 Schools for your code, W3 Schools for your CSS, and let me know how you go.